Hello to all of you bold, beautiful, brilliant, and highly evolved souls. I'm Davina, and today I'm going to talk about healing from the fawn response or people pleasing. And it's first really good to know that this is incredibly difficult due to the fact that um, this fawn response, of course, is a survival response. So it's in our brain, it's like fawn or die. We really literally think that we need to fawn or we are going to die. So for our child, or when we were in childhood, it was, we needed to please our parents. We needed to constantly be figuring out what they needed. And um, and we thought if we didn't, and often if we didn't, we would receive punishment or a sign of rejection. And to a little child, that means possibility of abandonment, possibility of real death. So this is a very, very, very strong conditioning, and it takes a long time to heal it and unravel it. So it's important to start there and important to know that it's not your fault and that you're not really in control of this. Those flashbacks are going to hit, and when the terror takes over, um, that terror of rejection, terror of abandonment, we go into the fawning just automatically, and it's not your fault. It can just completely feel like it's controlling you, and yeah, that's just how strong this is. So what can we do to heal from this? Of course, number one is boundary setting. I'm sure most of you are doing this already. So yeah, just boundaries, boundaries, boundaries for yourself, internal boundaries, and also, of course, with others. And the next one is also to keep tied into that, which is risking rejection. So setting a boundary and risking the possibility that that person will then say, you know, um, well, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Or, and that might be a deal breaker for you, right? So then the relationship is over. This is very, very, very scary. Um, so, don't leap into this if you're sort of just starting out. And start with, things that feel safe. Always start small and work up to the more challenging, more risky boundary setting. Number three, also tied into that, is to live according to your own values, and to sort of keep this in mind. For example, one of my boundaries is to live with mindfulness and slowness. And when the fawning takes over, it often will make me want to do things quickly, and it's sort of tied into flight, I think. I don't know, but like I gotta get this done. I gotta like do whatever this thing is to like because it's gonna help this other person. And so it can be very what was I just saying? Um yeah, to live according to that, to live like, I know this thing is pushing me to do things fast and to get things done, but I'm going to try and slow down. I'm going to try to do this mindfully, the way I want to do it, the way I want to live. Um, so that can also be helpful. Um, and the next one is really important, and that is grieving, 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 grieving. Oh my gosh, grieving. The pain and exhaustion of people pleasing. The thing is, once you start healing, the people pleasing becomes more and more painful because your self-worth is growing. And so the people pleasing starts to become actually really excruciating because you realize you're doing it, and you can see yourself in the day going, oh my God, I was people pleasing in that moment and in that moment. And what was I doing there? And oh, it's just like, it can be so, so painful. So just like to cry out that pain, um, to cry out like how exhausting and tiring it is to be living in that fearful, fawning state. Just cry out that pain as, as much as you can, because that will, relieve, um, it will just bring, yeah, relief and more peace. And the next few that I'm going to go over are going to be sort of more directly um, meant for when you're in that, when that fawn response hits you and you notice that it's hit you, and what to do then. So the first thing you can do is just to observe your fawning thoughts, observe these people-pleasing thoughts that are going on in your head, whatever that is. Like for me at work, it's like, I gotta go like empty the dishwasher. I gotta get this done before the girl wakes up, but I gotta get this done. And like, it's just like, um, I have these fawning thoughts. Even this morning, I'm like, I start going into like, I'm gonna do this video and I'm gonna do this video. And that's also kind of fawning, like I just, like anything can just like start like, I'm gonna do something for somebody else. So just observing these thoughts. So if you meditate, like it's so important to meditate so you can start observing your thoughts without so much reacting to them. So you can just observe and go, oh, wow, okay. So the next step is to like um, really just name that you are in a fawn response. And it can help just to say it out loud, just like, I'm in a fawn response. I'm in a fawn response because my parents abused me. And so I needed to fawn in order to be safe in that situation. Um, so just naming that can help to sort of like just remind you that this is not about the present, that this is about, the past. But it's still very, very real. So it's also important to name that you're feeling terrified. I'm feeling absolutely terrified. I feel like I'm gonna die. And to name that, because that is a real feeling. It may not be true for the present, but it's real for your inner child. So it's important to validate that feeling. And, it's understandable that you're feeling, terrified. The next thing is to get into the body, because fawning is, all in our head. It's like, I gotta do this, or I have to do that, or I have to rehearse this conversation, or, it can be so many different things. And so it's like, get into the body. And one of my favorite phrases you probably heard me say is like, I can be with this. I can be with this terror. And just start to like, feel your feet, feel the weight of your body in the chair or wherever you are. Start to like ground yourself if you can. It can be difficult depending on what you're doing, where you're at. Um, and so I can be with this terror and notice where it is in your body if you can. Is it in your back? Is it in your chest? Is it in your stomach? Is it in your face somewhere? Try to like just bring attention to that part of the body where you're feeling that fear. Give yourself a squeeze. That can really help when we're feeling scared, just to really hold ourselves really, really tight. Can really help, I find, to like just ease that fear a bit. And then to take a few deep breaths and just exhale as slowly as you can and until all the air is out of your lungs. And just do that a few times, like deep breath in and slow exhale, slow, very full exhale. And then just sort of settle back into your normal breathing. And at this point, if you're starting to feel a little bit more grounded, remind yourself, maybe have an affirmation for yourself. The one I wrote down was, I am important and my needs are important. My needs are important. So really to emphasize that. And I said, what do I need right now? Instead of focusing on what everybody else needs, what does Davina need right now? And it could be something simple, I need a glass of water, or I need some rest, or I need to go to the store and get some eggs, whatever it is that, make yourself a priority. And as I said, this takes, going over it again and again and again, and it's very tedious work. So, yeah, just try to have patience for yourself as you go through this. And yeah, honestly, if you're feeling the terror, that means you're healing, because you're no longer in complete fawning. Um, because of course, when we're in complete fawning, we don't feel the terror and the shame. Um, and I guess guilt is another one I should mention. Guilt is another strong feeling that can come up when we are trying to break this. A lot of guilt can come up. We can feel like we're doing something horribly wrong by setting a boundary. We can feel like we're being incredibly selfish by taking care of our needs instead of focusing on someone else's. We can even feel like we're being mean by, standing up for ourselves. So just noticing this and noticing that this is a false guilt. Again, it's real, but it's not true, because we are not being selfish or mean by taking care of ourselves. So, yeah, I hope this has been validating or enlightening in some way for you today. And as always, I'm wishing you many, many blessings on your journey of healing and awakening. And I am Davina at Boldness Blooming. Thank you for watching, and always thank you to all my viewers for being part of this. Thank you.